What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. We have got some breaking news on the National Wrestling Alliance being resurrected, coming back from the dead, and we're going to talk about it. And when are we going to talk about it? I think we're probably going to talk about it right here and right now on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Do it!
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Mr. Smashing Pumpkins is at it again, and I don't know why. Apparently, he was absolutely dead serious when he said he loves pro wrestling and wants to be involved in the business. And Pro Wrestling Insider is reporting today that Smashing Pumpkins frontman and former TNA wrestling president Billy Corgan, Mr. Smashing Pumpkins, has agreed in principle to purchase the National Wrestling Alliance. PWInsider.com has confirmed with multiple sources the deal in place would see Corgan purchase the name, rights, trademarks to the NWA, as well as the rights and possession of the NWA Championship belt. A lifelong pro wrestling fan, Corgan has flirted with his involvement in professional wrestling for years. In the late 1990s, he made numerous appearances for the original Extreme Championship Wrestling, but rebuffed Paul Heyman's invitation to purchase 10% of that company for $1 million, feeling that the company wasn't worth $10 million at the time. At one point, Corgan acquired the ownership of the old Bob Luce Wrestling Library, comprised of material from the time period Luce was promoting professional wrestling at the International Amphitheater in Chicago. Corgan would later get involved in Chicago's Revolution Pro, working in creative and acquiring a deal to bring that promotion to AMC Network as part of a reality series before AMC opted to shut down. Corgan would later pull out of Revolution Pro. A number of questions remain as the deal closes, including what does new ownership mean for the current NWA member promotions, and what would this mean for the NWA on-demand video service. Of course, the biggest question revolves around what exactly Corgan's plans for the National Wrestling Alliance will be. This is very big news, you guys, because with TNA inevitably heading towards its end, and Vince McMahon making his global footprint even greater, expanding into the UK and now into Southeast Asia and trying to get more in India. The NWA was at one time a globally dominant company. Now, I'm not really too familiar with what really has been going on within the NWA right now. So apparently they still function in the independents, and they have an on-demand streaming video service, which we're going to have to look into, just because I have a strange feeling that the backing of someone the stature of a Billy Corgan is going to create some high-profile publicity, and eyes are going to start watching what's going on there. I am case in point. It has been brought to my attention, and now I'm interested to see what the hell has been going on and what is going to begin to happen with new ownership. If he's as serious as he seems, this may be like one of us getting into the world of pro wrestling and trying to find a way to make it better for everybody involved and allow the business of pro wrestling to evolve outside of the WWE. I don't know. I mean, this is all speculation. I can sit here right now and tell you that this could be the greatest thing in the world for independent wrestling. It could be the worst thing. I mean, this guy could know absolutely nothing. His track record doesn't have anything to really show, nor has he come out publicly and stated anything or elaborated at all on his plans or his reason for why he's so adamant about being a part of the pro wrestling community and trying to get into the business so badly. And if this has been going on for decades, this just might be the deal that sets his feet where he wants them to be and allow him to grow something. The only thing I can really think of is, like, what I did see in TNA, all the Broken Hardy stuff, all of that was done alongside Billy Corgan, and it has been reported, and there have been reports that Corgan was working with Matt Hardy on some of that stuff, and maybe that's not such a good thing. Maybe his mind is a little too creative. Maybe he's going to go crazy with it. Maybe that's what wrestling needs. Somebody to just say, fuck it, we're going to go crazy with this. And we're going to make television and use wrestling as our platform to make television. Not use television to showcase wrestling. Because that's kind of what Lucha Underground does. And if they do that on a national level underneath the banner of a widely recognized name such as the National Wrestling Alliance, who has a definitive history. Now, here's the complicated thing, at least in my mind. I'm sure that Vince McMahon owns most of the NWA's historic library. I mean, they are on the network. There are plenty of NWA Championship matches featuring Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat. Like, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Maybe he's not going to have any access to anything prior to the year 2000 as far as a video library is concerned. I don't know anything about this NWA on-demand video streaming service, so I don't know what he's even actually buying. I don't know what independent promotions are part of this deal, but we are definitely going to stay on top of it and look at the situation and keep you guys informed on what's going on. This just came across the newswire for me. I just sat down at my desk. I was just looking through the stuff, and this was the absolute most interesting thing that I've seen on the boards. It's just intriguing to me, the fact that this could happen. We do not know what the impact of it is going to be in the long run, but I mean, from what I've seen from what he did in TNA, outside of the whole Hardys thing, I'm not sure how much credit we could actually give him, but, you know, some of that stuff wasn't really good. And maybe he just needs to assemble the right team around him. There are plenty of names out there that are available that have a proven track record in wrestling creation. And, you know, some of the old guys that used to work for the good TNA that were not part of the Jarrett regime, that are not re-signed there, they're available. You got guys like Justin Roberts out there that maybe could lend a hand. We don't know what his wrestling mind is like. He was in and around the business of the biggest company in the world forever. You know, you got to reach out to some of these people because their knowledge is valuable, man. It's invaluable. You cannot measure how important it is to have experience in a company like the WWE. When you're working in and around independent promotions, your stock grows 1,000,000 times. Look at what's happening to Ryback. Here's a guy that's nowhere near one of the best talents in the business. His pushes went cold every single time they tried to get him over, but he demands top dollar in and around the independent circuit. He's making more money now than he probably made in his contract with the WWE, only because he was featured on the WWE. So independent promotions can highlight these people and say, hey, look, we got Ryback coming down. We're a legit show now because we have legit wrestlers, and it's great. And are these the organizations that are going to be highlighted in this NWA deal? Is he just going to lump them all together and create the National Wrestling Alliance, and we'll have one show that features all these talents that are spread across the independents, but it's going to be one thing? I don't know. It's all speculation. But it's fun, man. This is the fun part of pro wrestling when things like this happen, because the possibilities are endless. There's good, there's bad, of course. He could absolutely take this and turn it into complete shit. And we could tune in and be like, what is this? No thank you. And just completely ignore it, like some of us ignored TNA in the past when it gets bad. Like right now, I don't watch it anymore. Since the mass exodus of talent leaving TNA, I don't watch. I was mildly interested when Billy Corgan was around and was actually named president, But they didn't allow that enough time to do anything, as Dixie Carter was still wheeling and dealing backstage and trying to sell the TNA library to the WWE right out from under the poor guy. He ends up filing suit against TNA because, hey, listen, they promised me all this. I'm entitled to 92% of the company. I'm entitled to the voting rights. I'm entitled to this. I signed a deal with this lady. But the court did not rule in his favor. And that's a good thing to have. He's been somewhat scarred by other companies in the business, so he's going to want to be better than them. So, I don't know, man. It's here and there and everywhere, all over the place in my mind, because I need more facts. I need more information. I need to know what his agenda truly is. Is he just going to be a financial backer and just let these guys do their thing? Does he have an overwhelming agenda? Is he going to create a new company? Is he going to use the original belts that he now has license to use? Is he going to change them up? Is that going to piss people off? There's so many great questions coming out, and there's so much wrestling around that it's almost hard to be a wrestling fan now, because you got New Japan, you got Lucha Underground, you got ROH, you have WWE, which in itself has 90,000 different shows within it. You got Raw, SmackDown, the Cruiserweight show, you're going to have the UK show, we got the women's tournament, we had the Cruiserweight Classic. You know, all of this wrestling just keeps coming at us. It's almost hard to keep up. And do we actually even want another alternative? And I say there's always room for more, because not everything is great. Not everybody likes New Japan. Not everybody likes Ring of Honor. Not everybody likes the WWE and prefer these other tastes. Everybody is different. Everybody's an individual. We all have our particular tastes. And this could be a new flavor that some people might enjoy, some people might never want to take a look at in the first place, just because it's owned by a guy that used to be in rock and roll music, because there are people that are that close-minded. But I'm always looking forward to something else. You never know what that next big thing is going to be, and if he can elevate that company to a status that it can run side by side with the WWE and be a viable alternative for some of these guys that we love to go and work and be a part of something outside of the WWE, since the WWE, as we all know, does not do so great sometimes, and that's most of the time, and their talents don't get used properly, and people can go, you know what, screw this, I'm going to go check out what they got going on in the National Wrestling Alliance, which is a long storied and historic name that it carries prestige with it already. Just because it hasn't been around in a real popular capacity within the last 15 years or so, since TNA tried to revive it right at the beginning when they were doing their thing. It's kind of been off the radar for most wrestling fans, but that doesn't mean it doesn't mean what it means. And having the NWA around again, maybe you'll put, if they push just a little bit and they put just even a little bit of pressure on Vince, maybe do a little bit better of a job than TNA has done, not do that six-sided ring stuff, and really be a viable opponent for Vince. Maybe he'll get those gears going in the WWE and make them start doing things a little differently, because them having nobody breathing down their necks for the last God knows how long now has brought us to this point where we're at now in pro wrestling, and it's not really the best place to be. It still remains to be seen what they got going on. We have Backlash coming with the debut match for Shinsuke Nakamura going one-on-one against Dolph Ziggler, and my juices get flowing just thinking about Shinsuke in the ring with the talent, the caliber of Dolph Ziggler. Yes, he's been on the downside of things lately, but expect this match to be a barn burner, everybody. It's going to steal the show of Backlash for sure, and not just because of the entrance. It's going to be fantastic. Watch and mark my words. Remember that I said it right here, right now on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, because that's the way it's going to be. Anybody they put in there with Shinsuke is going to do great, but Dolph Ziggler, especially with his ability and talent and the way he wrestles, going to be absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait for Backlash, just for that one match. We don't even know what else we got coming at us on the card. Most likely we're going to get AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens, because hopefully he'll win his title back tomorrow night on SmackDown Live, because as we keep saying, Jericho's going away, and this whole reason that he won at Payback doesn't make any sense, but that's another story for another day. We did talk about it in the last video, so go back and check that out if you haven't done so already. And that's today's breaking news. The biggest story I can find. Nothing else really going on. So, if anything else hits the airwaves, you know I will be here to let you guys know about it. And who am I? I am Nick Nightmare, and this is Blue the Snowball Microphone. Thank you guys for checking out the breaking news. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Check out the audio shows available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Podbean. Support the show if you like for as little as $1 a month on Patreon.com. Check that out if you will. Have a good one, everybody. Monday Night Raw starts in just a few hours, but right now, me and Blue, are out of here. Thank you for watching.